What is up, guys? Tomcat here, and today we are back in Forza Motorsport 7, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a talk with you guys on some drifting techniques and some drifting, just some drifting stuff, general drifting stuff that can help work you up to becoming a better drifter, and just kind of getting the hang of transitioning and getting the hang of the car. So we're going to go ahead and go into free play mode, and I'm going to take you guys to pretty much the simplest track that you can use for this stuff, and that is the test track Airfield. And honestly, like, the great part about the test track Airfield is that, here we go, let's see, oh, we just got that one, okay. So you can set it to whatever number of laps you want. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to set it to 3 and turn the drivatars off, and just for the sake of it being just for the sake of, you know, of kind of allowing everybody to be able to use what I'm going to show you guys here, what we're going to do is we are going to rent a car. And by renting a car, that means we're just going to use something that the game provides us that's fully stock, and I'll show you guys what assists I would say I'm using, or rather assists that I'm not using, so that you guys can get a handle on what, you know, kind of what's going on. Now, if I can find, where are you at? Oh, where are you? Well, actually, you know what? No, I have an even better one in terms of cars that, you know, anybody can go in and just try out. You're going to go straight to Chevy. You're going to go straight to Chevy, and you're going to go straight down the list to the completely stock Corvette Z06. So, completely stock C7 Z06. You're going to go ahead and grab it. You're going to go ahead and get in it, and going to go ahead and go straight out to the track. Now, I did a couple of videos on, you know, beginner drift stuff a while back, and things have moved forward a little bit since then. People have had some time with the game. People have had some time to level themselves up. People probably have a decent variety of cars, and I could have used my my modified FDRX7, but I figured it would be a little bit easier to apply some of the techniques we're going to talk about in a car that's fully stock, because then you don't have to think, what's his tune setup, what's his alignment, what's his, you know, all these kind of things. So, main things we're going to be working on are entry speed, transitions, and there's also another little thing that we're going to be working on that I'll show you when we get there. So, first things first, you have so much room to play with on this track that there's so much room for activities. It's brilliant. So the first thing I want you guys to do is just, like, you're going to throw it through that first corner. You're going to be throwing it into the first corner, but you're not going to worry about, you know, your drift points or your score, because once you get right here, and you can go back and throw it through that corner as much as you want, once you get to here, you're going to work on donuts around these poles. Now, the whole point of that is to get you guys to think about, not think about wall taps, but get you guys to think about how you place your car. Most of this is going to take place in first gear. Really, most of it is. So, when you think, whoa, okay, car's a little twitchy, but when you think about it, stuff like this is going to mimic really low-speed corners and really low-speed transitions, which kind of, in my opinion, are some of the hardest things to do when you're drifting in Forza Motorsport 7. And then, once you've done a couple of donuts there, you can go back the other way and really just ignore the complete layout of the track entirely. Run back the other way, shift into about 4th, e-brake and clutch, and then kick the back end around, and just let the car slide and catch it. Let the car slide and catch it. And you have so much space to work with here that it's just, it's like a no-brainer on, like, why would you not come here to practice? So, real quick, I actually want to see if it'll let me jump drift. Minorly. Oh, God. If I could avoid the wall, though, that would be, ow, that would be lovely. We didn't quite avoid the wall, but it's all good. We'll just kind of, oh, wow, it jumped a lot. All right, let's go ahead and get the car stopped. And I'll show you guys what assists I'm running. Because remember, this car is completely stock. So, we have normal steering. I am on a controller, so normal steering. ABS is on. I just like to have it on because most modern cars have it. Traction control off, stability control off, manual with clutch. Damage, make sure you have it on cosmetic only, because that will save your life. And also make sure that, wait, let me go back and see. Just make sure that you have friction assist off, which I feel like you probably would if you're gonna be, you know, driving with assist off anyway. And keep your rewind on just in case you want to be able to, just in case you want to make it a little bit easier if you do screw up, leave rewind on. So main thing is when you're heading towards the corner, so you're just gonna stay in it and get right about to where the corner starts, e-brake and clutch at the same time, and then just let the car slide and then let it straighten back out. No gas. That's the thing about the really high-speed stuff. You can go in and just e-brake and clutch. No gas. E-brake on, clutch in, and then back out. So just get down here, and then, of course, you would do donuts around the poles if you wanted to, or you could just come back the other way, get up to about 4th gear, and e-brake clutch, throw the car in, counter steer, and then just try to maintain the slide without any power at all. And then once you get that down, start adding some power into it, because the power is what's going to let you carry things through, right? That's what's going to let you carry your drift on into the next corner. And I mean, that's more of like a transition technique, but really all that comes down to is how you use the throttle and how you use the e-brake and how you steer. So get up to about 4th gear, e-brake and clutch. And now I'm on the throttle again, turning in and then counter steering out. Turning in, counter steering out. And this car has plenty of horsepower, so you're not gonna have any issues trying to figure out how much power to use. And then once you get down here, you can go ahead and actually you can make yourself a little course out of these light poles if you want. So you can go around one a couple times and then transition to another one and go around that one a couple times. So if you want to go around this one and then go around, oh god. This car does have a tendency to whip a little bit at low speeds, which is actually kind of good if you're trying to practice, because this isn't the only car that does that, and that you kind of should probably get used to that right now, because if that does happen when you're drifting online or you're doing like a points combo for Rivals mode or something, you want to know how to save it, right? You want to know how to save it. You want to know how to get it back on track. And if I can get you to just center yourself back up, that would be lovely. And you can kind of create these little, you can kind of create these little figure 8 motions, which actually are not too hard to maintain. That these are where you're going to learn transitioning, because the front end of this car is so sticky and it transitions super hard. So you're going to, okay, that was a little iffy, but the front end of this car, like I said, is super sticky and it transitions really, really hard. So when you go back the other direction, you either want to put the power on or be ready with the e-brake and possibly the front brakes to catch the car before it slides in the wrong direction. So use any of these light poles, preferably the ones that are close together, to do those figure 8 motions. And then, okay, that's a little too much. That's a little too much. And the thing is, there's no shame in using rewind. I mean, it's there. You may as well use it. It's an option. So regardless, you can go ahead and head back the other way. Get up to about 4th gear, and then once you get right to the start of the corner, e-brake and clutch, and then on the power, steering in and out of the corner. And that, as long as you don't spin out, that's what you want to practice, that's what you want to work on. And if you do spin out, just means you got to go back and do the same corner, more and more and more and more. If you're spinning out, usually it means you have too much throttle. If you're straightening out too early, usually it means not enough throttle. And then once you get to this end of the track, if you want to practice down here, you can practice getting up close to the wall when you initiate, sliding out, and then just carrying all the way through. That corner's nice because it's just a big horseshoe, and you can turn around and run it again really easily, or you can continue drifting on this section. I mean, this section really doesn't have that much to it, so you kind of end up just kind of transitioning back and forth down the straight. You've got a couple different routes you can take here, unless you tap the tire wall, which if you tap the tire wall, then you kind of have to start back over again. But regardless, if you want to head back the other way, I would suggest, honestly, I think the horseshoe and then the main first corner when you're going the right way on the track are the main two corners that, especially if you're still kind of learning, those are the best corners to practice. This one is good because it teaches you how to position a car and maintain your throttle, but it's a little bit trickier than the first corner. The first corner, you just want to throw it in, first of all, working on recovering the car without giving it any power, and then start feeding in the power. And if you start to spin out, again, just know that just means you're adding too much power. So one more time, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. And if you want to jump drift it, I guess you can. And I'm just full throttle here, just flat. So you can do it full throttle. Once I get up to here, I kind of let off just a little bit. Let me see if I can aim for that last... Oh, God. Not bad. It could have been better. It could have been better, but it wasn't terrible. So, this is, I would say, the best area to practice. The best area to practice, especially if you're new to the game or just new to drifting and Forza in general. This is an amazing place to practice. This is a really good car to practice with because it's easy, but it's unforgiving at the same time. So you kind of get a little bit of the snappiness that some cars have, but you also get a lot of power, which makes it simple. So, hope you guys enjoyed this quick video in Forza Motorsport 7. If you did, don't forget to leave me a like. Tell me in the comments down below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. And I'll see y'all next time. Talk to you guys later.